Like many difficult endeavors, which includes running a full marathon or doing climbing the Mount Everest, or running Comrades, which is about almost 90 kilometers. These are all difficult endeavors which you have to do on your own. Yes, you can have a coach, you can have friends who are on a similar journey, you can train together, but ultimately what you do has got to be a very lonely kind of an affair. So whether it is financial independence or whatever you want to achieve, it's going to be lonely, and you will have friends near you, friends, cousins, even your own spouse, all sniggering away saying it is impossible, we will never achieve that, what do you think you are, Tata, Birla, Ambani, Adani, whatever, but we will not achieve that, how can you retire at 40? You will have all these people sniggering at you and using the classic lines that what if you drop dead tomorrow? Now this is exactly what is called cognitive bias, taking a very high catastrophic event with very low probability, combining the two and scaring the hell out of you. This is just a game that people play. Like, when you start investing in equities, they'll say, what if the market goes to zero? Absolutely correct. You have to think about all this. But if you are so worried, you will be like a ship, very safe at the harbor but afraid to sail. Then there is no point in investing, no point in talking of financial independence. I'm not saying you should be 100% in equity, but you need equity to take you to that financial independence. So all these people who are doomsayers, who tell you, oh, this won't work and that won't work, will tell you, okay, what happens if you drop dead tomorrow? Very good question. What happens if I drop dead tomorrow? My daughter reasonably knows where my investments are. She knows my password. It's there on my laptop. They know whom to call, somebody who's handling our investments for a very long time, 40 plus years, another friend, they know whom to call, and that's all. Then there is somebody else who will step in and take charge. So I cannot wait and say, what if I die tomorrow, what if I die tomorrow, because you also have to answer the question, what if you do not die tomorrow, right? What happens if you live till the age of 102? You need to be prepared for that. Remember the movie 102, Not Out? Amitabh is still alive and kicking, right? So it's important that you bring in the spirit to live long and for financial independence. So assume, yes, I can drop dead. Be prepared for it. Make sure that your name is perfectly correct, right? So suppose if your name is Vinod Rajesh Patil, it should be Vinod Rajesh Patil everywhere. It cannot be Vinod R. Patil in one place and Vinod Rajesh Patil in another place. This great country's documentation will not recognize it. So make sure that your name is mentioned perfectly in your PAN card, in your Aadhaar card, in your passport, in your bank accounts, in your will. Every place mention your name perfectly. The rules created by the Brits, we are still sticking to it. We will not identify you as Vinod R. Patil. It has to be Vinod Rajesh Patil or full name in every place, right? So be careful about your documentation. That's the only thing you can do. You cannot say, what if I die tomorrow? What the question to answer is, what if you do not die tomorrow? That's also a question which you have to answer, right? So what would happen to my wife? Well, I have no life insurance, or I have a small policy which will not really matter, and claims have to be made, and that is not very difficult, because assuming your family knows whom to call in case of insurance, whom to call in case of mutual fund, or one friend who could step in and say, okay, I will do all this for you, just take care, right? So you keep your emergency instructions in place, you save what are your passwords, you have it handwritten, you keep it in a place where your wife knows where it is. Or if the wife is handling, I see those cases also where the woman is handling all the investments, so the man should know where these papers are kept, what is done. Leave a note for your children, right? It could be an email left to them. Make sure that you have a will, and because without a will your property won't get transferred. I've spoken about this enough number of times, so I'm not repeating that. Also be ready that when you're pushing yourself too hard, if you're 30 years of age and you think you want to retire at 40, don't push yourself so hard that you have some kind of a mental setback. Given the Indian conditions where we don't want to talk about mental setback, I know a young girl, young by my standards, so she must be about 34, 35. She was very happy when she had quit her job and she stayed at home. Her face actually glowed. Then she went back to her another job, and it's taking a stress on her, right? So if you can afford to slow down the pace at which you are going, and not hold on to your job very tight, there's a difference between holding like this and holding like this with both your fists and very tight and increasing stress for yourself. So don't hold things tight. Make sure that you're relaxed, because if you live till 90, you want to have no physical or mental setbacks. It's a great country, but we will not talk about mental health at all. That's another big crisis which is happening. So make sure that you don't go through all those things, because those can be the worst things that can happen to you in your journey to financial freedom. So what happens is, also when I see people around 60, 65, and I say, wow, these people have achieved financial independence 20 years ago and they're nicely living well. Remember that it is because of survivor bias, because I look at them and say, oh, this is how I want to be 5 years from now, or 7 years from now, or 10 years from now. So I look at those people, only those who have already arrived. I have no clue about how many people on their journey just broke down at the age of 48. Just broke down at the age of 51, or their company decided to send them abroad for a posting which they didn't like, and it disrupted their family life, and all those things which happened. I have no clue about how those things are handled. I am only talking of people who are already there, who are already 65 and financially independent. They need 10 lakhs a year and they have something like 20 crores of corpus. So these are not the people who are really worried about what will happen tomorrow. They are not worried about inflation. They are leading a nice life, right? They have their own ikigai, they know what you want to do, they travel. All those things are possible for them. But you also need to remember that on your path, you have to be careful not to fall ill to mental health. And also remember that people can tell you, oh, you're so tight-fisted that you're not eating out, but the best food that I have is at home. And my wife makes lovely food, but the best food is the one which I make myself. It's great fun, right? So enjoy all those things. Some of the best fun in the world you can have is free. We have an evening session every Sunday with schoolmates, and it's one of the best things that happened to me during COVID times. We laugh a lot. There's a laugh riot. In spite of all this, we still speak once or twice in a week with some of those people who are in that group. It's a big group, and we speak for almost 4 hours, right? And all that is coming free. And eating out 4 times a month, which was what you were doing pre-COVID, is come down to 0. I'm sure it will go back, but it can be once a month, it can be twice a month, it need not be once a week, right? From 4, if you cut down to 2, that is also helping you towards your journey of financial freedom. I'm not saying you will give up every coffee in Starbucks or every coffee in any other place that you have, but going out with friends, sitting with them and laughing, going on vacations with them need not be very expensive. You need not spend 5 lakhs on a foreign vacation. If you can spend 50,000 on an Indian vacation, that's not too bad. During COVID, you save that money also. So somebody who has earmarked, say, 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs for vacation, last 2 years that money is protected. So I mean, money is saved. So it's about 7-8 lakhs lying with you, not being spent. Some people are giving it to charity, because a lot of us have to be giving for charity because COVID has taken a huge toll. But helping people, helping a stranger for free, and walk with your family, walk with your neighbor, walk with your neighbor's dog, all these things are useful. By reading a book, I've got so many books which I'm planning to give away slowly because I'm not reading enough of it. So see whether you are financially independent. See whether you are calm with your portfolio. If your portfolio is giving you sleepless nights, rebalance your portfolio, right? And don't worry too much about whether you will be financially independent. If you are on the path, and if you are calm, and you will not change your route on a daily basis based on other people's feedback, you will reach there. The question is, when will you reach? That's all. So you may reach at the age of 43 instead of reaching at the age of 39. That's still okay, it doesn't really matter, but don't stress yourself to reach there at before 40 or things like that. It's just a number which the media has picked up and said, oh, you should be financially debt free by the time you're 40 and you should be able to retire at 42. Don't believe any of those numbers. There are no such rules. You create your rules, because being financially independent means that advantage of creating your own rules. Just because somebody tells you what will happen or what will not happen, it should not dissuade you from doing what you think is right. That's more important. Thank you.